What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show. And folks, we have probably one of the bigger, if not, I try to pride myself on getting the biggest interviews that we possibly can here on After Prison Show. And today is no exception to that at all. Folks, we're getting ready to talk with the chick from the GameStop Meltdown video, a transgender individual by the name of Tiffany Michelle. And you're probably asking yourself, Joe, what? Well, let me tell you something. Here on After Prison Show, I do not condone any forms of bigotry or racism, and I've got no issue with this individual or anybody for any way that they choose to live their life. But one thing that you may not know about this chick is that she has served time. 3 years, in fact, in state prison in the state of Oklahoma, I think. Folks, we're going to be talking to Tiffany Michelle about not only her prison experience, but also the GameStop video, the meltdown, and her reaction to that. And also, real quick, before we get into this interview, I got to tell you guys, the reason why this whole thing came about, if you don't already know. It was just a couple of videos ago where Joe was wearing the wig that we got out of the storage unit, and people were making comments saying that I looked just like the chick from the GameStop video. I would see that, I would think it was funny. I mean, it was, if that's what you think I look like. And then somebody would also comment that there was a music video that was created by the chick from the GameStop Meltdown video as well. Folks, I had no idea she was a rapper as well. I would then reach out to her on social media telling her, hey, I'm Joe from After Prison Show. Of course, I've seen you in the GameStop video, but more importantly, have you ever been to prison? Because I noticed that you got some tattoos that look like you might have been there. Folks, she would respond to me saying that she had. And she would also be eager to do this interview that you're getting ready to see right now. So without further ado, one of the biggest interviews I've got the pleasure of bringing to you guys, my potential twin, Tiffany Michelle, from the GameStop Meltdown that went viral all over the internet, and also a person who served 3 years in prison for robbery. Tiffany, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to rock with us here on After Prison Show.
Well, I thank you for having me. I mean, it's a great opportunity. I appreciate it.
Look, I want to start this off with a little bit of backstory, and please just bear with me for a second. What I do here on After Prison Show, we do a lot of work in relation to life after prison. You're an individual who has served time in prison as well, and we're going to be talking about that here today in this interview. It was a video that we had just done recently, and in that video, I had this wig on, and people were trying to make fun of me, and they were saying that I look like the chick from the GameStop video, which is you. And,
striking resemblance.
It's kind of crazy. They say everybody's got their doppelganger, their twin. You might just be mine. But they said that I looked like you, and they were making fun of me. And then somebody would actually make another comment and share with me a music video that you had created called It's Ma'am. And basically, you were feeding off of the GameStop situation that took place that went viral. But in that video, when I saw the music video that you made for that rap song, I noticed the tattoos. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I stereotyped you. I stereotyped you based on those tattoos, and I would reach out to you on Instagram. We can see them right there.
Right there.
We can see the tattoos.
Prison bars.
I couldn't even see them that clearly.
I mean, this is all prison work. Yeah.
Look, I couldn't even see them that clearly, but I reached out to you on Instagram and I said, hey, look, I'm Joe with the After Prison Show. Have you ever been to prison? And you had.
Yeah.
And basically, that was how the conversation started between me and you. And we've talked a little bit, and now we're doing this interview. And there's a lot that I want to talk with you about in this interview. And the first thing that I want to say is I just greatly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us here on After Prison Show.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, thank you for the invite. Like anything that people who are of the incarcerated experience, anything that can help them out or give them some kind of hope, I'm all about it. Because prison life sucks, you know what I mean? Like straight up.
It definitely does. Look, I want to start with the beginning, if you don't mind. And obviously, the one thing that people know of you the most is that GameStop video. They call it the GameStop Meltdown. And the first thing that I want to ask you is, obviously I know why you got mad in that video. You were how do you say it?
Misgendered.
Forgive me for my ignorance right there. You were misgendered in that video.
And this is how we learn. I appreciate you taking time to stop and clarify. This is how you learn and become more inclusive of other identities. So
Well,
thank you for that.
Yeah, and no problem. You were misgendered in that video. You got mad, as you had every right to do. But my main question in this situation is, what the hell were you doing in GameStop to start with?
Well, it was December 26th, and my son had just got a PS4 for Christmas from me, a bunch of games and games from other people, and he got a duplicate game. And so I was going to take it back. And the thing that started the whole argument was GameStop is very strict with their return policies. And my son, in his excitement, had unwrapped the plastic cellophane from around the game. So they were telling me that only way I could return it is for store credit. And so I was getting a little heated, and the dude kept calling me sir, and then that's about where the video starts, where I'm holding the receipt and I say, no, you're gonna give me my fucking money back, because I was getting heated. I mean, this kid he kept misgendering me, and he was giving me some news I didn't want, and I was already having a hell of a stressful day. You know what I mean? Like I'm a full-time single mom. Yeah, it was the day after Christmas, so yeah, it was a bad day as it was, and then. What really set me off was, after the video started, the clerk continues to misgender me. And then a woman who was standing with her kid over one of the game selections, comes marching over there, the Karen type that always wants to speak to the manager. And she comes marching over and she says, "Excuse me, sir, you need to watch your and as if this didn't just witness everything that went down beforehand that got me so heated. And that's when I lost my shit. And yeah, I mean, I kicked over some empty boxes on the way out. I got a temper. I mean, what are you going to do? But as a trans woman, you stereotypically, you're taught from the older generation to, just shut up and take it. Just be happy that they're letting you exist. You know what I mean? And I'm not with that. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what the culture is, I'm going to change the culture.
And I want to ask you this as well. Did you know that you were being recorded? Did you see anybody recording?
I had no clue. The real part is the kid who was recording me was a kid that had been on my jock, because I was a local MC. I've been an MC for a lot of years. I didn't just start rapping because of this misgendering incident. I've been a dope MC for a lot of years. This kid was on my jock for the last couple of years, before my transition, but going to all the shows and going out of his way. I mean, it was ridiculous. And I mean, he was really standing, you know what I mean? Yeah, I had no idea he was in the store, because I hadn't seen him for a year. This is 6 months into my transition, And I mean, when it happened, I'd been on hormones for about 2 months or so. So I still had real high testosterone levels in my blood. So because the hormones, HRT, hormone replacement therapy, it changes you. I mean, it turns you into a woman inside and out. And now I don't have a temper anymore. You know what I mean? And as much as I hate the situation, a lot of the flack and bullshit it's brought me, I mean, it's really been just a blessing in disguise. It's really made me a stronger woman, and it's made me comfortable with who I am, to the point where I can present, and I understand that I give off a masculine appearance. I'm not trying to hide that, but do I give a no? I don't give I'm happy. I'm happy as you know what I mean? So,
and that's all that should matter right there. So long as you're happy, who cares what anybody else thinks?
Absolutely.
You didn't know that you were being recorded. Obviously, I really want to know, what was your reaction when you see this video on the internet? Because I imagine that you see this video, and not only see it, but you watch this thing get a ton of views and go super viral.
Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. Like one of my closest brothers, his name's Dom Ruiz. He goes by the name Dom Life. He's an MC, a pretty popular one out here. But he called me on the phone at about 2:00 on the 27th, the very next day, and he says, "Yo, there's a video of you going around on the internet, and it's building up speed, like for real." And I had made a big post about the incident the night before, after it happened, after I got home. You know what I mean? And I had no idea I was being recorded. And yeah, the homie Dom calls me up and says, "Yo, this video is going around." By that time, it was 15 or 17,000 plays. So that's when I hit homie who recorded it and posted it. I hit him up and personally in his inbox. I'm like, "Yo, I would really appreciate it if you go ahead and take this video down, man. This is some bullshit. The cisgender don't understand how damaging it is to be misgendered in the first place, but to be misgendered to that degree where the kid had a whole store full of people laughing at me. Yeah, I mean that's close to assault. You know what I mean? Yeah, I see this video, and he of course doesn't hit me back, and I spend the rest of the day watching as this video, like within 15 minutes, it went to 100,000 plays. And then within like an hour, it was at like 900,000 plays. And I just kept watching it all night long. I didn't get a wink of sleep that night. And I just kept watching it all night long. Like a lot of my friends, everyone was like reporting it and stuff. And finally, Facebook took it down about 22 hours later, but it already had like 8.5 million plays. And it had already been shared to every other social platform. And I mean, it was earth shattering. I mean, my life was over that minute. My life as I knew it freaking ended. You know what I mean? Yeah, like the next 2 weeks, I was beside myself. You know, I mean, I couldn't go out in public because I got recognized everywhere I went. I remember about 4 days after the incident, I went to breakfast with a friend. It was at IHOP, and people were literally like snapping pictures of me and stuff while I was trying to eat. Like it was like, and how am I supposed to take my son out now? You know what I mean? Like this is crazy. It changed my life. It absolutely changed my life.
You know, you said that you felt like it destroyed your life, and I can imagine, you know, something like that most certainly would. But you've actually been able to embrace this a lot of negative attention that's been thrown your way. You made a rap music video called "It's Ma'am," and you know, in that video you're embracing that. But you know, I read the comments on that video, and I mean, they're atrocious. People are just saying the worst type of things. They're making a lot of fun of you. I'm sure on my video, you know, here on After Prison Show, there will be people who are laughing and joking about this situation.
It's occupational hazard for me anymore, you know. And once again, these trolls sharing my words in jest and with intent to harm me, they're only making me more powerful. And so I just let them do their thing.
You know, they made fun of me saying that me and you look alike. I could care less. I think you're a good person. It's an unfortunate situation what happened to you with that GameStop video. You had a meltdown. It could have been anybody in that situation. I'm sure you regret that situation, the way that you handled that, probably more than anything.
I really do, but I really don't, because if that hadn't happened that way, and it wouldn't have exploded the way it did and gone like crazy viral, all of that started conversations. It started conversations that need to be had. It started a discussion over trans identity. And I mean, it's like, people need to realize that we're here now. And you know, we bleed red just like y'all do, but I mean, like we're not trying to take anything from it, and that's what really gets me, is these people are like going out of their way to try and hurt somebody who has never had any effect on their life one way or the other.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind, and it is what it is, though. Like I said, occupational hazard.
And there was a point that I was trying to make, but I got kind of off track, and that was, I saw the music video that you made for the song "It's Ma'am." And look, you can spit. You got some lyrical content with you.
Yeah, I got some bars. And the thing about it is like before my transition, I used to be all punchlines and, you know, battle rapping and all that stuff. And then after the transition, you know, I wrote Superman as a means of therapy to you know, cope with what was going on in my life, because it was on, you know, exponential levels. It's huge. Like if you've ever been trolled, multiply that by like 1.5 million, and then you have maybe like my morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
You know, I couldn't even imagine.
So I wrote those bars, and you know, I've always been dope with bars. You can ask around. I've been dope with bars for a long time. I wrote them bars, and I even put the word out right after. I was like, because I kept reading them. I'm like, oh my God, this is like my mantra now. You know what I mean? Like this is my theme music. This is music to throw bricks to. You know what I mean? Like, I got a hold of the homie Kuma, and we got it recorded, and he got it mixed and mastered, and we released it almost immediately. We didn't put any kind of thought into promotion. You know what I mean? And then we got my friend John Blaze involved. These cats are both, you know, heavy in the Southwest music scene. and we've worked together a number of times before my transition. And so, I mean, and it wasn't even awkward or nothing. It was crazy. Yeah, it just came together. And the unfortunate part is I shared a 45-second promo of it before we actually dropped the video, and that got all the attention. That's the one that's been shared like I think 6 or 7 million times between Twitter and Facebook.
Wow.
And yeah.
And, you know, with the fact that you just so nonchalantly say, oh, yeah, I got some bars, that's what I was laughing at just a minute ago.
Yeah.
But,
I got
hey, look,
bars,
I wanted to ask you, you know, why don't you spit something for us?
All right. Well,
I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Like the JFK sniper in when I'm writing all these assassinating tracks. Yo, I brings it back. Yo, I kind of fell off track, but I got you. Yo, I come to rock the spot, Casablanca. Yo, I'm flying and I'm bombing in the bomber. When I brings it back anonymous, I harm a motherfucker's armor. I'm sorry I cussed, but I just tend to do that. Yo, I still keeps it true, fat, yo, indeedy. When I smoke the weedy, yo, I write graffiti. All these cats, they freaking need me. Yo, I'm bringing up the conversations needed. All these cats, they want to spit the same raps repeated. I just don't get it. Yo, they kind of wet if they want to freaking forget the challenge when I step in. Yo, word is born, I'm a deadly weapon. Mel Gibson or Danny Glover. There's not another. Yo, I smother. And that's about all I got for you. Yo, what's the next topic, dude? What I'm rocking through. Yo,
you know, and that's a freestyle right there. You could tell that's right off the top of the head. That's all right.
I could spit some of the shit that's on my album. That shit's fire. I could spit a verse from my album if you want me to.
Maybe we save that for the next time because we got a lot more to talk about. But real quick, laughing and joking kind of with this. You know, I made a rap video. It was called Ramen Soups. I have to send you a link to it for you to check it out. Maybe we could collab on something.
I'm so down. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm all about building and putting my brand name out there. Because that's one thing that's really helped me cope with the whole GameStop situation is monetizing it. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of money in it. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of shares and hatred. You know what I mean? And everything I drop is monetized.
You know what's funny?
So
what you just
paid for these views. You know, it's ridiculous.
It's not even funny. Forgive me. That was the wrong choice of words. It's very interesting what you just said right there. There were shares in hatred. People will share the violence, the negativity, the hatred. Oh, that's the stuff that's selling right now. I want to move on right now, and I want to get to your prison story because something that people probably don't know is the fact that you served time in prison.
Actually, a lot of people know that because there's a meme with my intake penitentiary mugshot on it going around, all shaved head and everything. And yeah, there's a meme with pretty much probably about half the mugshots I've had in the last 15 years. And it says it's ma'am in real small letters across my arms. I mean, it's really well thought out. I give props to whoever put it together, but you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's pretty common knowledge that I did time.
Forgive me for laughing. They make memes about me all the time. I find some of them funny. Forgive me for that.
At this point, I find them all funny because like really, when you break it down, I'm living rent free in these dudes' heads. And I'm enjoying the stuff out of that. I mean, they know who I am, but I have no idea who they are. It's that celebrity life, you know what I mean? Like it goes to your head too, you know what I mean? Like I'd be lying if I didn't say I've enjoyed just about every single step of this trip. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
that's
it's still going too. That's the other thing. It's still going.
Look, that's the positive part of this. You did 3 years in prison. I'm sure you've been locked up more times, but I want to talk about this 3 years that you did, and I think you told me it was for a robbery charge, correct?
Mm-hmm. Robbery 1. Yep.
You're a person who's been in trouble quite a bit in your life?
Yeah, really. I have. I spent some time in the service, and when I got back out, when I was in the service, I got really into shooting morphine because I had a corpsman buddy who would hook it up, you know. And when I got out, the intravenous drugs just continued. I went to school, became a mud engineer out in the oil fields of Oklahoma, and out in the oil fields, I mean, you learn to crutch. You got a crutch on meth to keep you awake and alcohol to put you to sleep. The drugs spiraled out of control, and I lost my job and I needed money, and I started doing collections for my dope man. I was leaving a house where I had just like the dude didn't have the money, so I just like cleaned him out, you know what I mean? And I was leaving the house in my wife's Lexus of all things, and Sure enough, his mom was pulling up at the same time, and she saw me. Yeah, I had a whole slew of charges, but I pled down to the robbery one charge. I also had home invasion. I also had something about the use of a firearm because I had a gun. You know?
Well, that's where I was going when I asked you about being in trouble a lot. If drugs were a part of the issue, you've already spoken on how they were. But I definitely want to spend some time talking about your prison experience with these
Absolutely.
3 years that you served. You know,
Absolutely.
this is before the GameStop video. This is before your transition.
Yep.
You know, what was your prison experience like? Were you, you know, I'm going to ask this question because I just don't know. Were you
honestly, like aside from a couple of creature comforts, it really wasn't that bad. And it's some time I needed to get away because I was 4 sheets from gone. You know what I mean? I was twisted off 100% when I went in, and I fought my case from the county for like, I don't know, 8 months. And Oklahoma County is probably one of the worst county jails you could ever go to, ever. I mean, it's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. If you pop a zit in there, you'll get staph infection.
Wow.
It's so gross. But yeah, I fought my case for about 8 months and got it from 26 years violent. Because in Oklahoma, if you catch a violent charge, usually a first-degree felony is a violent charge, even first-degree trafficking. You got to do 85% of your charge day for day. It's just like being in the feds. You got to do like 85% of your charge day for day before you start getting any kind of good time. And yeah, so I ended up signing for the robbery one charge for 3 years, 3 in, 8 out. Yeah, when I pulled chains from the county jail, it was like jumping for joy. You know what I mean? Like, the county sucked. The county breaks your spirits. It is designed to make you sign. You know what I mean? Like, straight up. And yeah, when we pulled chains to Lexington, where they do A&R, I was so stoked. You know what I mean? I was absolutely just livid. You know what I mean? Like I remember the razors they had in the county jail, anywhere, they just one little single blade, and I couldn't shave my face with it. And man, like when I pulled chains, I had a Grizzly Adams beard like this big. Yo, it was ridiculous. Yeah.
Look, can I jump in real quick? You say pull chains going to A&R. This is when you're leaving from the jail going to prison, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Uh-huh.
We don't call it there. We call it B&B. Pack your stuff. You know, you're going on that ride. You're going upstate.
Yeah, in Oklahoma they call it pulling chains.
That's pretty
Pulling
interesting.
chains is when you leave the county and head to Lexington. Lexington is the A&R facility. Lexington is one of the facilities that still has a max security wing in Oklahoma, and like they use that max security wing as the intake wing when you pull chains. I mean, you're on total freaking lockdown, like 23-hour lockdown, and there's 2 payphones on the pod, and there's like, I don't know, 25 people on the pod. And, oh my God, it's like a battle to get on the phone to call your peeps. You know, it was crazy, but it was still better in county. You know, and I was there about 3 weeks, and yeah, the first yard I went to was Bill Johnson's Correctional in Alva, Oklahoma, and that's a program yard. Because my lawyer played it off that I had real bad drug problems, and that's what led. So the program yard was in my sentence deal. I went to the program, and I was at that yard for like, I don't know, 8 months. And while I was there, I learned how to fabricate a tattoo machine, and I started tattooing.
Oh, so you did tattoos as well?
Yeah. Most of my work is done by me. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The shit that I can't read. That I couldn't read. I mean, you got to practice somewhere, right? I'd never tattooed anybody. I write graffiti. I've been writing graffiti. I'm ill on graffiti, and somebody saw me writing some graffiti. They're like, "Yo, you should tattoo that on me," and I'm like, "Okay," you know what I mean? Like, and that's when I learned how to. I can fabricate both a clacker or a rotary machine, and yeah, I can make some real nice ink too. I can burn. Man, that Blue Magic hair grease burns like the thickest soot. Oh my goodness, yeah.
I know.
All my stuff is still black, and it's almost 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like,
all I know is the rotary machine. You're talking about the traditional tattoo machine. I would definitely be interested in learning more on how you put that together, but maybe we save that for another time, or maybe that's a video you make on your own.
I can even tell you how to make a reducer for them. Like how to hook your fan up as a power supply.
Right.
Like there's so many tricks to it. You just got to know some basic engineering, basic electronics. that's it. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty easy stuff. Yeah.
So
Like,
forgive me for asking this next question, but I'm curious, so I definitely want to ask. Your transition, obviously, this was well after your prison experience.
yeah.
Was this a part of who you were while you were in prison? And I guess what I'm asking is, were you gay? Were you bi? Were you straight then?
Okay, so I've known who I was since I was 5 or 6 years old. I've been a woman my entire life. Back in the day, though, there wasn't really like language to describe what we were. Now it's become, a lot more widely accepted, and so there's language now, like transgender. I'm pansexual, which means gender doesn't play a part in who I'm attracted to. But no, I mean, all that shit was under wraps for years. You know what I mean? I put up a huge front. Like I had an older brother who was pretty merciless, and when I was like 6 years old, he started beating me up and calling me a sissy and everything else. So I learned how to fight by getting beat up by my older brother, and I learned that the way I felt was not the way you should feel. And so I bottled that shit up. I mean, I didn't really start confronting it and experimenting with my gender identity until I was like in my late teens. And then I went to the military for 6 years. So I didn't get to really do anything, because back in those days it was don't ask, don't tell. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, like, I experimented with guys and girls alike, but I mainly just stayed with girls because that was socially acceptable for a dude. You know what I mean? Like, it was still taboo to be gay back then. But yeah, I've known who I was the entire time. But when I went to prison, I just kept it in. I sucked it up and kept it in, and I went and did my time. I didn't mess with the punks in prison or anything like that, and I didn't mess with them one way or the other. Right at the end there, like probably a couple weeks before I caught my case, I had every intention to take my son and move back to Albuquerque where I could start my transition. Like the feelings of wanting to transition were like real in 2011 when I caught my case. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah, that's all good.
So while in prison, you weren't engaging in anything that you would hear about in prison with, the homosexual behavior or anything like that. But you shared something with me in a phone call that we had yesterday, and I really want to talk about that a little bit. And that was, while in prison, you were somewhat of a boss, possibly even a shot caller, if I remember correctly.
For a little woodpile. It was mainly just a bunch of white boys who didn't want to conform to separatist or Aryan ways. I mean, like a lot of yards, they're buzzards. They wait for the littlest white boy, and it's sad because they prey. They absolutely prey on their own. You know what I mean? So, like, yeah, I'm not gonna let that happen to a poor kid who's just doing like 3 years on a drug charge. You know what I mean? Like save that shit for way behind the fence. Save that stuff for max security and for lifers. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole different ball game when it comes to lifers. Like, and I didn't do a lot of time with a lot of lifers. Like, because the lifers in Oklahoma are really kept separate. You know what I mean? They're at certain facilities, and like I did time with a lot of cats who had done a lot of time though and knew how to do time, and so I mean you car up with those dudes, and next thing you know you got a nice little wood pile, and yeah, you do what you got to do to survive. Yeah, and like straight up, I'm nice with the hands. Like I'm real nice with my hands. Always have been. You know what I mean? And I'm Army trained. So
look,
there's that.
That's where I was going next. Was you're a big chick. I would imagine. Like, how tall are you?
I was just over 6 foot before I started HRT, and now I'm down to about 5'11". It's actually kind of compacted my spine and sort of compacted me. But I'm about 5'11" right now, and I mean, even though I have this killer body or whatever, I'm just playing. But I'm probably about 100.
I wasn't going to say anything,
between
but
176 and 182 pounds, and I can run. I've got wins, so that's the other thing. I mean, so I'm just waiting for one of these trolls to actually physically bring it to me, and I'll give them the old 2-piece and a biscuit and put them out.
Oh my God. So look, did you have any fights while you were in prison? I'm sure, there could have been the potential that you definitely did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, at times, but I mean, you gotta keep your eyes on the prize. I knew I was getting out in about you know, if you put a number on it, I was getting out about 34 months from the time I started my county time, because I got county credit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, there's times where, you know, I mean, that's who I am. That I can't deny that. It's necessary. It is absolutely necessary, unless you want to get walked on and extorted in prison. You know, straight up. Even on a minimum security yard, it's absolutely necessary. I haven't talked this much about prison in a minute. This is pretty. Yeah, it's nice to reminisce with cats who've been there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not a lot of my friends and acquaintances have ever been to prison.
Well, everybody I know has. So welcome to the club. You know, you talk about you got to fight while you're in prison. You've got people up under your wing who are in prison. You talk about the weaker individuals. You know, with us reminiscing on your experience that you served, or your experience in prison, you know, is there anything crazy that sticks out to you, an experience? It doesn't have to be a fight, just anything crazy that you remember from your time in prison, possibly like a story of something that you saw or you went through yourself.
I saw a guy get stabbed and bleed to death over a $2 box of Debbie's.
Over a $2 box of what?
He got stabbed. It was over it was a $2 debt. It was a box of Debbie's. It was a box of Debbie's. It was a box of snack cakes or whatever.
Oh my God!
$2 debt, and dude got aired out. Like they put a couple holes in his neck, and he just bled out before anybody could get out there, because it was a medium security facility. And then like one time I was at Mac Alfred in Stringtown, Oklahoma, and a couple of cats escaped. And the whole prison was locked down for like 3 days, and we were like the laughing stock of the entire prison community in the country. And I remember the COs and the case managers kind of taking it out on everybody else because these two knuckleheads escaped. You know what I mean? And it made them look bad because, I mean, it's a medium security facility. They should not be able to escape from there. You know what I mean? And they rolled out. You know, they was out. They was on the run for like 3 days. I think they got hemmed up in like Illinois or something like that.
I can imagine you probably got prison stories for days, but I don't want to just keep you on that. I want to move on to something I find really interesting, and it's actually how I first started thinking that you would serve time, and that's your prison tattoos. You know, could you show us those prison tattoos a little bit and talk to us a little bit about what they mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to fight, so I got the barbed wire and bricked up knuckles. The 505 is the
area code. Can we see it? Can you hold it up? Can you hold it up so we can see it?
505 right here is the area code in Albuquerque. That's just a cool little robot that I liked. These are my bars to represent my time at medium, at minimum, and the bricks that represent my time in medium. SC, that was my old crew, Skull Control. This one says white trash with an anarchy symbol because I'm an anarchist. That's my stepdaughter Kayla's name. This here, let me just strip for y'all.
Hey, hold on now. This is family-friendly content.
My son's name.
What's it say?
And that under there is a big NM for New Mexico.
Okay.
Because I love where I come from, you know what I mean? And then these guys right here, because that's a car I used to ride with.
Peckerwood.
My little Mr. Horsepower guy right there. Then I got a bunch on my legs too that I really can't reach up there. But,
it's all good. We get an idea.
I got a lot of tattoos.
Can I see your hands real quick? Because we couldn't see those.
Oh, yeah. That says Duke City, New Mex.
Hold them up a little bit higher. We can't see them.
Oh, my bad. Right there. Right there.
Oh, yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, it's crazy that those took right there, too, because I see a lot of tattoos that get done on the fingers that don't take very well.
Yeah. You know, and actually, I have my ex's initials that I tried to tattoo on the inside of my finger, and that's all that stayed. That color falls out real quick.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I have really calloused hands. So
I wasn't going to say nothing. I was thinking it. I saw the calluses. I'm not trying to make fun of the hands or anything like that. But it does bring up another question that I wanted to ask you, and that is, you know, what do you do for work outside of, you know, trying to pursue rap music and your internet fame, basically?
Okay, so before the transition, I was a master specialties carpenter. I did like nurses stations and reception stations in big buildings and stuff like that. And I was also a solid surface fabricator level 2. I'm certified in Corian and DuPont Corian. I'm certified in HiMac. I'm certified in Formica. I'm certified in a whole bunch of different stuff. But uh, construction just isn't really trans friendly, and it's not what I want to do the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So I started going back to school last year, and then, well, I went to school one semester and did well, and then the GameStop video happened over the winter break, and I had to move everything to online courses because I tried to go across the campus my first day of class, and people were stopping me and like wanted to take selfies and all this other stuff. So, but my school is really good about that. But and then probably I guess about September, about a year ago, I started driving for DoorDash, and because you can make your own schedule and whatever. And yeah, I've just been driving for DoorDash ever since. I put about 60 hours a week in now, and I make between like $1,200 and $1,500 a week.
Wow. So, I was curious what kind of money is in that.
Yeah, it's pretty good if you put the time in, and you also have to live in an area where there's going to be orders, you know what I mean? In Albuquerque, the Albuquerque area that I work in has got close to 1 million people. So,
and with you doing DoorDash and having to deal with the public, are you ever making any deliveries and people are like, hey, aren't you the chick from the GameStop video?
Well, I present masculine. I wear baggy cargo shorts and a t-shirt, but I don't try and hide my jewelry or anything. I don't hide who I am. I just present masculine because you never know whose house you're going to.
Right.
But people recognize me all the time. People recognize me, and I'm always quick to yeah, I'm Tiffany. Yeah, I'm serotonin. Yeah, whatever. But it's a safety reason I present masculine.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because people recognize me everywhere I go. It's crazy.
There's two final things that I want to wrap this up with, and we are going to wrap this up. And the first thing that I want to ask you is, with the amount of exposure and the amount of viralness that you have gained from the GameStop video, and just from your social media presence, how do you cope with, or how do you deal with the amount of negativity that you receive?
Copious amounts of medical marijuana. Really, that's copious amounts of medical marijuana, and I take my meds every morning, and that does me just fine. At this point, it doesn't affect. Like, at this point, I get sad if they're not trolling me. You know what I mean? Like what have I done wrong? Please troll me some more, because there's some real big names that follow me.
We don't want to throw any of them out there, but
yeah.
Look, I'm very happy to know that even in the face of negativity and adversity, you're able to walk with your head held high, and you're able to cope with it, and you're using it as a form for good for you, which is your music career. This is something that you're very passionate about, and you can see that with just the little freestyle that you did for us and the music video that you've done, and you've got a lot of music that's coming out. So I want to allow you to do some self-promotion right here and let people know how they can follow you, where they can find you, and what you've got upcoming.
All right, so check it out. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really interact on Twitter unless like I have a big release and it's going viral. But I'm on Twitter at Serotonin, SARATONIN 79ER. That's Serotonin 79er at Twitter. Then I'm on Instagram as either Tiffany_Michelle_Moore or as Serotonin 79er. And then I'm on Facebook. The big page is Tiffany Michelle. At this point, people should just follow that, because I'm maxed out on friends. I've got like 15,000 friend requests, and I just don't mess with that anymore. So, but you can still follow me, and I almost every post I make from that page goes viral. And then my alt account on Facebook is Tiffany Moore, and you'll recognize me in the picture. So, but yeah, that's it. I got an EP coming out this month called Stirring the Pot, because that's what I do. Every time I post something, it stirs the pot up even more. Yeah, just look for me. And then other than that, there's a Superman video if you want to familiarize yourself with my work. Because once again, like, whether or not you like trans people, I got bars. And that's the thing I've noticed. Most of these trolls, I've seen people say, I'm going to be honest, I came to troll, but you got bars. Mad respect. And it, yeah. please listen to my music, because it's all relevant material to what is going on in the world today. So thank you for the opportunity, though. I really, really appreciate it.
It's no problem. I greatly appreciate you taking the time. And I said 2 questions, but I am going to ask you one final thing. And that is, look, most people know you from the GameStop video, or they've seen your rap music and they make fun of you. And it is a very unfortunate thing. I don't promote any type of bigotry or racism or anything like that with After Prison Show. But with the fact that these are the reasons people are probably most familiar with you, you know, what would you like to leave people with about you, your message, and what you're trying to do for those of them, or for those people who may not know anything else about you other than what they've already seen on the internet?
Well, I'm just your regular old American girl trying to get along, and I'm very passionate about trans issues. I'm a very well-known advocate and activist for trans empowerment, not trans rights, but trans empowerment. Because I mean, we've got rights. We need to be empowered, though. It's about time. And that's what I'm doing. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm focusing my life on right now is empowering trans people and kind of making cisgendered people aware of the situation. And yeah, that's pretty much my calling at this point. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, Tiffany, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us here on After Prison Show. And, you know, for giving me the opportunity to learn more about your story, as well as, you know, the audience of After Prison Show. I hope people will be respectful in the comments section. I can guarantee that there will be some people who are not. But no matter whether it's positive or whether it's negative attention, one thing about it, you're getting attention, and you're in a position in your life right now where you could actually make a major wave and really work toward a really positive goal in the end. And it seems like that's exactly what you're trying to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem.